Yeah. Okay, let's go through, this table, try to understand by practicing the previous examples. I know when you see the first time this table is a bit confusion, but you can go through and try to understand so the table completely. So then if you have any questions and if you don't understand, I will explain next class again. Okay, so now I'm moving to next topic, which is non-access modifiers. So like access modifiers, we have some non-access modifiers. So these non-access modifiers we can we can put in front of variable, method, and class. So this non-access modifier. So final, abstract, transient, volatile, synchronized, native, static, all this uh, strict FP and all so these are all have different purpose. So there are main so this transient, volatile, synchronized all come under this native also come under thread. So when I talk about threads topic, I will basically explain about this. Abstract already I covered in last topic. So abstract method, abstract class, right? There's non-implemented method. So abstract class is nothing but it can have both non-implemented and implemented methods, right? So this is about abstract already covered. Static is covered, if you remember, like static variable, right? It is basically for maintaining same instance, same copy for all the objects of same class. Example I showed you, like college name in a student class. Like if college name is common, we can put as static and it saves the memory. And it is covered also. That only final is not covered. This is also coming classes in place of thread we will see this final only non-access modifier. So final I will basically explain now. So final can be variable, method, and class. So that means final we can apply for variable, method, and class. So what is final variable? So the variable which is declared with the final. If you look at this vehicle class, the variable which is declared with the final, the keyword or final non-access modifier, it become constant. So that means if you put some value for the final variable, it become constant. So you cannot change the value of this final variable. So when you try to change the value, it will not allow, it will actually throw the compilation error. I will show with the example. So final variable nothing but it is a constant. Let me put here, become constant. We cannot change the we cannot change the value of the final variable. Final method, so I will show with examples all this. Final method, so if any method, suppose in vehicle class, if we have a method called run. Okay, so run method, if you put the final keyword or final not non-access modifier in front of this method becomes final. So final method cannot be overridden. That means, so we already saw, right, the inheritance. One class can extend another class. Suppose if you have a car class, extends a vehicle class, and when you try to override, so the override already we saw, function overloading and overriding. So I think you need to go through the topics each and every time, like so that you don't forget, all this overriding, all the features. So when you try to override the same function from parent class, okay, it will throw the exception, because so final methods cannot be overridden. So we cannot actually redefine into the subclass final method. So that is about final method. So cannot be overridden. And final class. So if we have a final class, so right, so if final class means the class. So if for any class, if you put final keyword or non-access modifier, final class cannot be inherited. That means when you try to extend this final class from any other class, so it will not allow. So we cannot even extend this final class from any other class. So car extends vehicle. If you try to do that, it will throw compilation error. So that's about final class. So final class cannot be inherited into subclasses. Cannot be. Uh, oh, I can say like cannot be inherited only. Now I'll show you the examples. Okay, so final variable and class method. So encapsulation, I'll talk after these examples. So now let's like look at the final class example. So let's put some vehicle class. Yeah, already we have vehicle class. Let's assume that this is a final class. Okay, private. Yeah, we can put even private final. Okay, private final. Now, so when you try to put any final variable, when actually when you from any method when you try to override this let's try to override this data or reassign this data, it will not allow. So type is now become final, we cannot change the type value. So now when you try to change this type value, what it will do, set on to like say like let's put van, it will not allow. So it will basically what it says, not type, is start type. This means the current state. Yeah, the start type. If you try to put final field vehicle type cannot be assigned. So final you cannot, this become constant. So now if you remove final, right, it will allow. The moment when I remove it doesn't show the error message because the final variables become constant. You cannot modify. So now what we are saying, right? So this type of the vehicle is fixed. So is sedan only. You cannot change the type of this vehicle as some other van or some other like Cooper, or you cannot change it. So that this is fixed. That's about final variable. Final method. So final method. Let's put this. Let me put back. So now suppose let's look at our inheritance examples earlier. Where is inheritance? Multi-level inheritance. Yeah. Here we have multi-level inheritance example, and there is a what we did car class. Car is actually is extended vehicle, right? Car is extended. Now car is a subclass of vehicle. So now so here get type is overridden here. So this is redefined. So now get type, right? So let's put this as final. In parent class, I'm putting one of the method as final. So this final, when you're trying to override, okay, override means when you try to like redefine, it throw the exception. Final class cannot be overridden. It cannot override the final method. It says you cannot override the final methods. Final methods are fixed, and we cannot allow, will not allow further subclasses to be overridden. So that's about final method. Now final class, let's put like this as final class. So public I'm making this vehicle as final class. So that means, so final, this vehicle is now final. So we can, whatever you put inside, that is final. You will not allow any further subclasses to be changed this behavior. Like that's what when you try to extend this vehicle, it will throw the error that the type car cannot subclass the final class vehicle. So the vehicle we cannot override, we cannot inherit basically, because it become final. So that's what we can say. If someone asks what is final, this is important interview question. So you can say final can be applied to variable, method and class. Final variable is nothing but constant. We cannot change the value of final variable. Final method is will not allow to override in subclass. So that means the final method cannot be overridden, and final class cannot be inherited. So if we have any class as final, we cannot, will not allow that class to be inherited using extends keyword. That's about final. So now encapsulation. So encapsulation is this is very important. Any questions in final? Any questions? You and Salem. I know Syed is like hearing. I mean, Syed attended early class also. I want come up
Uh,
questions if you have any.
in final, when you read the final, just it's variable, it's constant,
Yes.
cannot override, and cannot be inherited. So it's constant, but cannot override.
No, final variable is constant. Final variable cannot override also. Like yeah, that's correct. Final variable, if you have, if even yeah, final variable can be overridden. Oh no, we cannot override final variable. We cannot change, right? So you cannot override also final variable. If constant means you cannot change it. So that means even final variable also cannot be overridden. And it don't mix up these things actually. You'll get confused. Okay. So final variable, if someone asks, it is constant or you cannot change the value. Final method cannot. Don't mix up these things. Like don't think like whether variable can be overridden or not, whether variable can be inherited or not. Final variable. So these are different things definitely, and don't mix up the things when we are learning phase. Okay, that's what I can say. Okay, so now I can say final variable cannot be overridden because you cannot change the
Mm.
value of the final variable. Final variable cannot be inherited also, like no point of inheriting the final variable. So we cannot change the value. Yeah, so that's about a final. You understand, right? Final method cannot be overridden. If you observe like
Yeah,
last classes, right? Overridden concept was there. We which you we allow redefine any parent class method. So that is not allowed with the final method. Even class, if we make the entire class as final, that class cannot be inherited. Even we are not allowed to extend actually for into the subclasses. Yeah. Okay. Salem, are
yes,
you good? Do you understand?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, practice, all the
I
programs.
will come back with question next
Yeah,
week.
sure, sure. You go through these like in your date,
Yeah.
weekdays. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Encapsulation. So it is basically encapsulation is this last topic actually. Then I'll stop today. Okay. So encapsulation is a simple topic only. So what is encapsulation in real time? I told you earlier many times, like in real time, the class will look like this only. Okay, if we have a class employee class, all the variables inside the class would be private. We will not allow in real time, like any program, like in any project code. If you see, all the variables are private only. So we will not put public, protected, any other modifier will not put, only private. And the methods, getters and setters, I told what is getter and setter, right? Getters and setters, for each variable one getter and another setter will be there. Getter used to get the value of this variable, and setter used to set the value of this variable. Okay, getter and setter. So this each variable will have getter and setters. This getter and setters are public basically. Okay, so this is the this is the pattern we follow everywhere in real time projects. Okay, so variables should be private, and getters and setter classes methods should be public. So why we follow that? Okay, so to protect these variables, if you allow to access these variables outside of the class, there will not be any control. Okay, so from anywhere they can modify this data. So that is why, we are allowing to modify only, from the setters only. We allow outside of the class to access only from getters. That means if you look at, right, this example, there is an employee class and there is employee object also we created. So from this employee object only, we can set through methods only, we can change the value. Let me show you this example. Let me copy this. This is the real time, the class will look like this. So I have an encapsulation example. So let me copy this. Okay, if you see the employee has two, okay, it's already defined. Employee new, I can put employee new. So don't think about this null point exception. I have not yet covered this exceptions topic because it is a further topic on threats and all, right? So if you look at exception is the next after two topics I'm going to. This one is related to that exception. Don't think about what is null point exception and all. Just try to focus on other whatever I'm trying to explain. So now employee class, we have employee new class, which has two properties, employee number and employee name. So each property has two methods, get method and set method. This is how in real time. So these two properties are private because we are allowing to access these variables like only from getter and setter. From getter, we allow to access the data of this property, and from setter, we allow to update the property method. Okay, so update the property, update the value of the property. So now, if you try to, like, in another class, we try to create the object of this employee new, and we can still, like, change the value of this employee name, but that is only through this set method only, set employee name and set employee number. So then you can print the values or get the values of this employee number and employee name only from get methods. That's about encapsulation. So encapsulation, the meaning is we are capsulating, we are actually wrapping this inside one class, and we are protecting this data, like, to not access outside of the class. So that means if we have an object employee new, from e we cannot access the variables directly, we can access only the methods because methods are public here, so variables are private. So that's about encapsulation. We are hiding the data, we are hiding these variables data, we are not directly allowing these variables to be accessed. That's what encapsulation. Let me read the definition. Let me run this program first.
Like implementing?
Yeah, not implementing. Implementing is abstraction, right? Related to abstraction. So it is it is kind of like protection, like for the data. So this data, right, we are protecting, or we are hiding this data from other classes to be accessed. That's about encapsulation. So if you look at this example, John 101 printed here. So let me read the definition, okay, so that you can understand completely. Let me read. So what definition says? Encapsulation is a Java process of wrapping the code and the data together in a single unit. So, for example, this is like, example capsule, that is mix up of several medicines. Right? Capsule is like, inside the capsule, what you can do, you can put some different medicine capsule if you have, right? So you can put different medicines inside, like in a capsule. So the same way, we can combine, we can actually encapsulate this data, like in methods and data, and wrap into one class. That's called encapsulation. So we can create fully encapsulated class in Java by making data members of the class as private. That means variables as private. Now we can use the setters and getters methods as, like, use. I mean, we can create getters and setters and access the data through getters and setters. So Java being class is explicitly fully encapsulated class. Advantages of encapsulation. What is the? It provides you the control over the data. So that is more control. In this example, if you see, there is an employee number. So if you want to control, okay, if you want to put one validation like the employee number, if you want to see, like, if there is so if there is a employee number, like, it's if there is an employee number with all zeros, you have to throw the exception. Otherwise, just try to set the data. If you want to put this kind of validations, and the setter method and getter methods are useful, and is basically like protect. encapsulating variables and methods together inside the class. This is the real time the coding style we follow, because we will allow to access variables through methods only. If you want to put any validations like this, you can just put a setter method and you don't need to modify it multiple places. Okay, that's about encapsulation. So you can go through the topics. Today topics are very important. What I teach to you today. So access modifiers, non-access modifiers, final one, and is encapsulation also. Practice and come up with more questions if you don't understand. Okay.
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 Yeah, and try to, like, brush up old topics also, because if you observe today, we talk about overriding, inheritance, and then like multiple things are repeating now. These are core concepts. Static also, like, we spoke. These are the core concepts, right? Like, whatever polymorphism, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, all these, like, so if you are in Java side, it will completely, like, every time, it will repeat, and these topics will be very useful everywhere, like in any other Java framework, and all these topics are, I mean, these concepts are used basically everywhere. So you need to understand these very core concepts very clearly, so that you don't need to think. If someone say overriding, so what is the overriding and all, you don't need to again go back and check the reference. You always keep remember what is static, what is inheritance, what is polymorphism, abstraction, overriding, and all, like, So can we stop the class? I'll send you the this video and the notes for you, material. So you just go through them and practice. Then come up with question next class.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can practice more, Salem, and you. I know you both are meeting and practicing it. Continue that. So keep meet
Yeah. Yeah.
frequently and 2 times a week, so that you'll understand it. I mean, if any questions, you both can refer somewhere in some of the material, and then it'll come up. Sayed, any questions from you?
Thank you.
So are you good, Sayed? Are any questions?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll stop here, and then I'll send you the videos and material and practice. For yesterday's class and today's class, I'll send you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.